A lot of people think it's the flag, swagged, or draped grapevine wreath, and then that's what we're going to be walking you through. I always say we're. I gotta start doing that. I am going to be showing you all the steps to make one, and because I had so much going on. I forgot to stock these in my shop, so I don't have any available for sale, but you may still be able to find them on a handful of places. So before we start, if you want to save this tutorial and you're a Facebook user, super simple. Just go ahead and click the share button down below. Yes, I know I said that, share. Share the button or click the share button below. It'll take this tutorial and move it to your personal Facebook page, or however you're logging into Facebook, you'll have the tutorial there. YouTuber is a little bit different. You're just going to hit the save file for this video, and you'll be able to save all of your videos wherever all of your videos are stored. Now, if you want to get notified when I go live, which is every Tuesday afternoon at 4 Pacific and every Thursday at 11 Pacific, you're going to want to do two things. So if you're a Facebook user, you want to make sure that you're following my page. And here's the big kicker. Click the like button, which is hidden, but it's right next to the follow button. 3 little dots. Click on that. Opens up a sub menu. Because Facebook's changing stuff all the time. You'll either click turn live notifications on or click like this page, which, when you do both, allows you to receive notifications on your phone when we go live. You should be notified if you happen to have your device handy. YouTubers, you're catching this as a replay from an earlier Facebook Live, so come join us on Facebook at Cats Creations Wreaths, and you can do the live thing. But all you have to do to get notified when I have a new video being uploaded, which is usually every Tuesday and Thursday, just make sure you subscribe to my channel. And that's it. That's all you need to do. This design, I'm only making one this year, is available on my website now. So if you're interested in making this purchase, you're going to want to go to catscreationsandmore.com. Couple of other announcements. We have 2 days left for you to sign up for the 2-day virtual class on how to make a floral arrangement, how to make a mailbox swag. That's what's going to be hosted on Saturday, May the 4th. Then on Sunday, May the 5th, we're doing bows 3 different ways. So not only do you get my bow recipe, we're going to be working on 2 totally different bows. So you can join that virtual class by also going to catscreationsandmore.com, signing up for it. And even if you completely miss it, because stuff happens and life happens, right? You'll have access to that for as long as you like. Those tutorials, in a sense, you're basically purchasing, but you'll be able to view them from the Everything But Wreaths Facebook group. So make sure you sign up for the class, and then it's going to give you a document to download that gives you all the details about the class, what time, what we're doing, and also for you to click over to the Everything But Wreaths Facebook page, which is the name of the class, because we're doing Everything But Wreaths. So I hope you guys will join me there. I'm going to go ahead and pivot you down. We're going to go ahead and get started. And I can't believe it. Facebook's working. So that's always a happy thought for a Thursday. So bear with me. We're taking you down. Trying not. There we go. I think that's a pretty smooth transition. So what we are working with is an 18-inch grapevine. Now let me go ahead and make sure. Oh my word. We are actually live on my Facebook page. I finally got that all figured out. Hi, Elizabeth. Good morning. Hi, Beverly. Hi, Jan. Thanks for joining me. So 18-inch grapevine. I happened to get this one at Michael's. Michael's is generally the place that I like to order mine from because they have less leaves in it. But you'll still have to go through and pull out all of your debris, all your broken twigs, all your rough edges. I took an opportunity yesterday to do that so that we were ready to go for today's tutorial. But you'll want to make sure, because it makes it easier to put everything in. like this one. I don't know how I missed that. Make sure that you run your hands along the edge, and generally our hands will pick up things that maybe our eyes definitely don't see. Then you can take your wire cutters and go ahead and make whatever adjustments. So you want to do the front and the back side so that you're good on the customer's door surface, but then you're also good for your surface when it comes time to start putting this together. So Michael's for this. Then you will want to get, some people use scarves. Here's a word of caution: never use the American flag. And trust me, even if you're making them and selling them, you want to disclose in your listing that this is not an American flag. And I want you to see that this is not an American flag. So this is what's called a 10-foot American bunting. And it's got quite a few layers. So you can see it's it's folded here. So if I keep going, and then technically I can go one more time, and this goes all the way out 10 feet. If you cut it in half, you can get 2 wreaths out of it. I like leaving mine fully intact for this purpose because I like it to be a little bit more thicker. Like I said, I used to sell these, and for some reason this year I just spaced in trying to find them and order them so that they would be available. But this is the one that I have left. And I'm going to show you how we're going to create this. So I like to put my stars on top and have, like, this is how I want to present it on our grapevine. I want the stars on top. So you need a bunting. You can do a scarf. You can do material. You can go to Joann's or Hobby Lobby and find some material that kind of looks a little bit similar. You will need, I think it's 5 feet. So if we don't cut it, you'll need a 5-foot piece in order to wrap this to be adding some Pip Berries, because I think Pip Berries, Rustic Stars, and Raffia all say country. The nice thing about this design is it is not specific to the 4th of July, which means that if you have this type of decor in your home, this is an everyday wreath for you. My dad was a big proponent of that. That's all his house consisted of. So we're using these Pip Berries, and then we're also using some Rustic Stars, and I've had these forever, but they just have little holes in the top that you can add some wire to, and then we're going to go ahead and add this to our Pip Berry mix. Both the stars and the Pip Berries you can get at Factory Direct Craft. Here's the difference between getting them from Hobby Lobby or anywhere else, is a lot of times you'll get substandard Pip Berries. I should have brought the ones my husband picked up for me because he didn't know. So Hobby Lobby sells ones that they, the wire here does not allow you to bend it and keep its shape. It basically, let me see if I can find those. Hold on. So I can show you what not to get. I found them. Okay. So these are the ones that Hobby Lobby sells. You get quite a few of them. I mean, you get quite a few. It's probably double what you get here. But here's the thing. So remember how I showed you we could bend this one and it stays, right? This one, if we try to bend it without, like, we're really creasing that, it generally has no wire to kind of keep that all the way. Like, you're basically going to really have to struggle because it's more like a thin piece of plastic in here than it is an actual wire. So you want the wired ones, not the non-wired ones. So Factory Direct Craft is the only place that I found that sells them for a really good price. And you can get a ton of them in all different kinds of colors. So you can be completely stocked up in rustic Pip Berries. So let me go ahead and, hi Julie from Virginia. I'm going to go ahead and put my information in, and then we're going to go ahead and get started Oh, one other thing. I forgot to cover our ribbon that we'll be using. And let me go ahead and do this. Okay, so here's the website for those of you that want to sign up for the class or purchase this wreath. There we go, pinned comment. All right, ribbon. So you're going to need a 2.5-inch ribbon and an 1.5-inch ribbon. So what I chose for this one is I want to do the America Land of the Free, Home of the Brave ribbon. And then we're going to pair this with the D. Stevens red, navy, and tan. We're keeping that Americana look, which is navy blue, tan, and a maroon. It's not really a true red. That kind of helps you trend into your Americana palette, whereas the more traditional Patriotic is going to be red, the bright red, the royal blue, and the white. So I think we have covered it. Also, you'll need raffia, which you can get at Hobby Lobby too. And we're ready to go. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put those in there. Joan, hope you are all well. Sending hugs from the UK. And it is currently 1910. What is that? That's like, is that 9? I'm trying to figure out what 1910 is. I want to say 17. My daughter knows because she keeps everything on that 24-hour calendar. But welcome, Joan. Thanks for joining. So the first thing we want to do, since we are not going to be cutting this in half, is we want to make sure that we have enough material to go around, and we don't want an overabundance here. So what I'm going to be doing is just kind of moving my wreath around to where I kind of have a little bit, and actually want more on the top than the bottom. So I want to make sure that I have enough on the bottom, because the top is going to be the one that hangs over what is left from the bottom. And you don't really need a ton on the bottom, just enough for you to be able to gather that and twist it. Now, with this design, it is, let me look and see how wide this is. It is about 22 inches wide. We only have an 18-inch wreath, so we need to bring this down. So I'm going to set this to the side. And I don't like an awful lot of the beige, so I'm just going to kind of pull these down a bit. And I'm kind of pleating as I go. Oop, so that we can do this. And I want it to look, I don't want the seam either. So I'm going to kind of want to tuck that down a bit. So let's see how that works. And I don't want to see the thing at the bottom either. Let's see if this works. So I have just enough for me to gather. I probably need just a touch more. Okay. This we're going to have to fluff as we go. I just don't like to see the seam at the bottom, which is why I folded it up. And then the same thing here. So let's see if we can pull this. So what you want, this is where you'll see a lot of people struggle with their swags because they get loose here and they get loose here. They cannot get a tight seam, like, because what you really realistically want is you want this really tight around your grapevine. And same thing here. We want the red really tight as well, but we want all the colors to be exposed. And I would rather have more stars, less beige. So I'm going to pull this back just a little bit. This is the hardest part of the entire design. So I'm going to go with about 2 layers of stars. Just like that. And I'm really going to pleat this. Pull this down. Pull this down a bit more. And then I'm going to even this up so that it's sitting on my wreath a little bit better. And you kind of want it to have those pleats because it looks weird if you don't have a good pleat. And so what we want like this is you want to have enough here to create the swag, okay? So enough to wrap around here, but then we still need enough down here at the bottom. So if you're happy with the way this looks, like I said, go ahead and make sure you're pulling all your pieces in. It's really pulling the edges and getting the edges nice and tight. Also grab it from the back. We sometimes forget how to do that. And as you can see, no gaps here, no gaps here. Make sure that is roughly where you want it to be on your design. I'm just kind of picking at this a little bit because I want it a little wider, a little bit more stars showing up here. So again, pulling right here at the edge, pulling at the bottom edge, pulling here, pulling at the bottom. And for now, do I like the way that looks? It's gonna be up to you as far as preference goes. I'm trying to get this just a touch, a little bit over this bump that I have. Okay, so if you have it nice and tight, what I always say is take a pipe cleaner. Take your pipe cleaner right here at the edge. We're going to go up and over, and then I want you to twist at the bottom. Now you can come back and add a, a zip tie, but sometimes we have to make some other adjustments, and so we want that to be, you know, something that I can make an adjustment with. Like all of a sudden I'm moving it, and then I notice I don't have it quite as tight as I want. Having a pipe cleaner allows me to make those minute adjustments better than if I had a zip tie on it. But once you get it to where you are happy, so you can see that this is the way it's going to present, and I'm looking at, do I like the way it looks? If it is the way you look, and again, you can move them down, you can move it up, you can bring your swag up a little bit more if you want. Just understand when you make those last little adjustments, like I just did, I really wanted to pull it up a little bit more. Okay. So now I'm just going to adjust my pipe cleaner so that I can take that blue in a little bit more. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Over the top. Pull it down. And I'm going to go around, back up, and then I'm going to twist. Okay, so now you've got the funny little tail at the bottom. We don't need to worry about that. We just need to make sure that the one on the top covers the one on the bottom. Do you guys have any questions thus far? This is exactly how you're going to start your wreath. And realize that this part here, making sure that you've got it nice and tight, is going to take you the longest on the entire design. After this, we're going to go ahead and start our bow. So if you like where it looks, if you're happy with all of your layers, then you're ready to go ahead and add your bow. Okay, I'm just going to bring this back over here so it's ready for me to see. And you can see that this is wide enough now. It actually like covers everything. It grabs that underside and keeps it nice and tight. And this is where a lot of people think that this is a flag. It is not a flag. This is a piece of material that just has a flag pattern on it. So you can find these, I think it's Annie's Treasures carries these. I don't know if she still has any more in stock. Sometimes you can find them on Etsy. What you are looking for, the term, is an American 10-foot bunting. That's exactly what it is. Because they use these to swag on the fireplace, or they use it to swag on porch railings, and that's exactly its purpose. Like I said, you can get a fabric. You're just going to need 5 feet of fabric. That's right, 5 feet. Because this is a 10-foot flag. I've doubled mine, so I'm using the full 10-foot spool. Otherwise, you could get 2 out of here if you want to do it a little bit thinner. But you'll be able to kind of see a little bit of a transparency here. So with that, I'm ready to start making my bow. After 12, so like 13 minus 12 is 1. Oh, awesome. And Karen, I just gave you where you can find these. Annie's Treasures usually carries them every year. I don't know if she has any more in stock. That's where I got mine from. And we are ready to go. So we're using our ribbon. Now remember, we have this America, Land of the Free, Home of the Brave ribbon, and we've got a horizontal pattern. So we want to make sure that we're keeping that horizontal pattern intact so that we don't like have half of our lettering upside down and the other half right side out or right side up. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. All I'm doing is borrowing my Bodabra to hold it. So it's not going to be really utilized to make it, but we are going to dovetail the ends first, which is wired edges together. We are going to cut from the folded side down to this wired point. Oh, awesome. Karen says, I could sew them, but it might be cheaper to buy them. I think it Etsy might be a little bit higher, but check Amazon, or just go to like your local fabric store and see if you can find something patterned like this. So folded side to the wired point. I like to have a pretty deep V. So we are going with 7.5 inches for my tails. We don't want this crazy long because we don't want the ribbon to compete with the swag. The swag is our focus. The swag is the centerpiece. The ribbon is just a nice accent piece. So 7.5 inches. So we're going to go from 10 to 17.5, and I'm going to pull this in. So this is literally exactly how long it's going to be. If you want it a little bit longer, then by all means you can go like 8 inches. But again, we don't want anything to compete. So I'll do 8. We're going to twist. I'm just going to place this in my Bodabra. We are going to measure out 5.5 inch loops. So you can see right now we've got this upside down from where I'm working at the top. Don't worry about that right now. Just go ahead and measure to where you have 5.5 inches, and that goes from right where the center of my Bodabra is. If I pull this out, I want to make sure that I have 5.5 inches, which is right where it's at right now. So see, we've got upside down, right side up. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to, oops, trying to get it. We're just going to flip it so that it matches our tail. So here's our tail underneath. Now we have everything facing the right direction. We're going to go up. We're going to measure the top again. 5.5 inches. We're perfect. All of our lettering is still going the same way. We're going to go up and over. And again, we've got it doing that same thing. Now it went upside down, but let's measure our 5.5 inches first. And then we're simply going to twist it. Sometimes you have to just look at how you want to twist. I like it the other way, because I think sometimes if I twist it, I end up getting like way too much in there. Making sure I still have a true 5.5 inches here. I'm going to bring that in a little bit more. We're going to do the other one on the other side. We're doing double loops because we already have that 5.5 inches measured at the bottom. You can do a little cheat and just put your fingers in both sides, but we still need our 8-inch tail. So here we are. Pulling this out 8 inches. Make sure your bud dabber's lined up correctly. And then we're going to dovetail the end. So now, if you see word, 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 everything is in the right alignment. All the words are facing in the correct direction. Now the next ribbon that we're putting in, it's not a vertical or horizontal pattern. It doesn't matter. So we're good here. This is D. Stevens ribbon, which is always a little bit more on the expensive side. We're going to dovetail the end here. And we are going to do probably about 7 inches. Let's look at this. Let's see if I like 7. I kind of like that. And a twist. We're also doing double loops, but this one is only going to be about 4.25, I think. So I'm going to stretch that out, and I'm going to bring that. I am looking at making sure that our loop size is correct. Okay. I'm going to do this one, I think, at about 5. Let's do 5. Make it just a touch bigger. It's kind of an optical illusion because you think that it's not very big until you get it out there and you put it on your wreath and you're like, whoa, those are way too big. Do the same thing. We're going to press and measure, and I think I pulled this one. Yeah, I did. So I'm going to pull this out, and then I'm just going to readjust this one from the top of my spool, not pulling my ribbon from the bottom. Last one, up, over, pull here, and then we're going out 7.5 inches. We're going to dovetail this one. And this gives you a last minute opportunity to iron out any of your ribbon where it's kind of puckered, where you don't think it's going to lay right as you go to fluff it. And then before we start, I'm going to actually add my raffia into this bow. Usually I add it after the fact, because usually I'm like, oh wait, we should have added raffia. So this raffia is from Hobby Lobby. So if you have really super thick pieces, just divide them in half. You kind of want them a little bit more thin. So just keep separating. We're going to keep the ends all together so we can keep it nice and even. So that's not too thick. Let's go ahead and take another piece and divide this by 3. There's 1. Still want this one divided a little bit better. Okay, so again, keep all your ends together. Trying to find all my pieces to get the ends all started on the same end right there. And then all you're going to do is where your hand is held, you're just going to kind of wrap these back and forth so that you kind of have this loop, a light loop of raffia. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to lay that right down on top. Let me grab a beige pipe cleaner. So I'm going to hold this down, pick up the whole thing. We are going to drop our pipe cleaner right on the inside. And we're just going to hold the bottom and twist. And then for here, I'm going to come in and add my zip tie right in here. I want this in the back though, but I want it right on top. Let's go ahead and turn this over. Nice and tight here. I'm going to go ahead and wind up my ribbon. That's all done. Flipping it back over to the front. We're going to go ahead and prep our ribbon so that we're ready to go. So here's our tails. So I'm just going to separate top and bottom. We want our tails to all be at the bottom. So I'm going to just take these and pull them down. There's that side. There's that side for both. Top, bottom. Let's go bottom, top. It'll look nicer once we actually get it on our wreath. Open, open. Paying attention to how your directional ribbon is now laying. So we want to keep our wording to where it's facing up. And we're going to go right over our zip tie and our pipe cleaner. And then we are now going to fluff this so that it looks a little nicer on the wreath. This piece got stuck below. There we go. And if your loops just aren't quite configured, just go ahead and pull them in. You can make some last minute adjustments. This is where I was saying sometimes we get a little too gung-ho on our ribbon tails and we make them a little bigger than we want. So I'm just dialing those down a little bit more. A little higher. Kind of want these to fall in line. And then we want our raffia to be front and center. And then we're going to pull this down. And we want to showcase our ribbon here. I like them just kind of overlapping the edge ever so gently. And I'm just barely taking anything off this tail, but I want it to even up so that they're the same all the way through. Okay, so if I spin this now, this is what it looks like to you. So that is how our bow goes on our swag. Now we're going to add those fun embellished pieces. We are going to take our Pip Berries. I'm just going to flip these all the way around because your Pip Berries are more like an accent piece. I want this a little bit more on the grapevine than hanging off the side. So the Pip Berries come with a set of two. So you're going to have a red or burgundy, tan, and then blue. And then you have burgundy, tan, and blue. Sometimes they give you a little extra in there. that out of our raffia. Going to remove the tag. And what we want is we want to bring our Pip Berries just underneath. Like I got that big branch to work with. I might just bring my bow up a little higher to hit that branch level so that I don't have to deal with it, like trying to get it to go under. Okay, so bring it up a little higher. I'm actually going to go right under that branch. That'll give me a little extra bite to my design. Nice and tight, and I've got it sitting up a little higher on our swag. So now when we come in with our Pip Berries, they're going to kind of go right inside here, and they're going to kind of just splay out, and it's usually about 4 sets. And I usually try to, if I can, sometimes get them in alignment where they need to be, like red, white, blue. Let's see. Here's the red. Here's the tan. Here's a blue. This one actually has a lot more on it. So I like this one to the top. So I'm probably going to use this one. This is why when we clean out our grapevines, it really works. So these ones will lay a little nicer on our design. And we're going to do the same thing down here at the bottom. I have this big branch to go underneath. Let's go ahead and remove that. And again, same thing, red, tan, blue. If we can, red, tan, blue. I don't like where that one's laying because of that big branch. If I go too far under, well, that'll work. Can we go way under there? I know what we'll do. How about if we cut the ends off so it's not quite so long? So then when I pull these way up, it can go way up under there. So then we have these spraying out, and I'm always really particular, I like to kind of curve them so they're just kind of following the shape of the grapevine all the way through. We're going to get the red back over to the outside. Again, follow the shape. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Make it follow the curve of our grapevine. Because otherwise they're just all static. They just all stick out. And we want them to kind of fall in line with everything else. Now, this is where if you have some pieces that are way out here and you really want to bring those in, this is where our binding wire is going to come into play. So binding wire, you can get on Amazon, and I love that it comes in the same color as our grapevine, which is wonderful because you can't see it. So, say for example, I really want to bring this blue piece in. All I have to do is go under where I want it to be. Actually, I have way too big of a piece. I'm going to secure it to the branch, and then I'm going to line this up with my Pip Berry. Give it a couple twists, and we have brought that in where we want it to go. And now it'll stay in place rather than gluing it. Okay, you can do the same thing here if you want this brought in a little tighter to the design. Just see where you want it to stay. I always do like a crisscross so it's already on the vine. Couple twists. Tuck that under. Kind of want this one out to the side on its own, but I would definitely want to pull the beige in. So I'm going to just crisscross again, pull my beige up right where I want it to stay, little crisscross section, and now we have that one in alignment with the others. Okay, that's how you get them to stay where you want them to. The bottom half is looking good. I don't really see that I need to dial anything in. If you want to thicken it up, you can definitely come in and add even more. Sometimes you only need, which is why I have a lot of them that are kind of already pulled apart. Sometimes I just need specific colors, or I want them to wind up where I want them to be. This is where you can take those little individual pieces, pull those apart. You can kind of tuck them into your grapevine and kind of thicken that up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just pull apart one other pick, just like this. And I definitely want to add a little bit more down here to the bottom. So I'm going to kind of flip them so that we have that look going instead. So I'm going to twist around. I'm going to take my glue. Oop, didn't mean to glue it to my glue mat. We're going to go right under, and this one's going to go over that branch. Okay. Up and over, just so that we have it all splayed out. Picking this up, we're going to add a little bit more to the top, separating them by colors. It's weird how they don't, like you would think all the colors would line up, but they don't. Okay. Same thing, these ones are a little longer. Going to wrap the blue because it's just kind of on its own. We're going to kind of come in here so that we have them a little thicker. And we're going to just attach that entire piece. Again, piece of binding wire. Trying to find where the end is. There we go. I'm going to bring this one in. Is it the yellow? I thought it was, you know, I guess we're doing yellow. Okay. So now this one I'm going to leave because I want to take one of my rusty metal stars. Remember I told you these all have holes in the top? I'm looking for the one I like. So we're just going to sit here and we're going to thread our rusted star right on, just to give it a nice little country look. We'll take that, tuck that back down, so we've got some rust stars wherever you want them to be. You could technically use binding wire, you could use glue. I like the fact that if we can use the binding wire, it definitely creates a more lasting look. So I like one there. I'm going to go ahead and add another one. a weird end on it. And sometimes you just have to be a little bit more picky. Like, I don't want them quite so rusty looking, like a two-tone effect. So I want this one to kind of come down in here a little bit. So I'm going to grab this one branch that I have. Over. And I find that if you give it just a touch of slack, it will line up exactly where you want it to be. So there's our 2 rusty stars. If you wanted to, you can come back up and add another one. I kind of like that look. So let's go up. Remember, 2 twists on the vine. Go ahead and line this up. Go right through your hole. Give it a little bit of a gap. We're going to twist that on, snip that off, and we're going to tuck that right behind. And there's that. The top's looking good. We're going to go ahead and add the same stars down here to the bottom. So I have it in my hand. We can look at where do we want them. I kind of like it there. Maybe one in here. I like adding that touch. So a twist. We're going to drop our star right through. Couple twists. Remove that, and we're going to tuck that right underneath. So there is that star. I kind of like the idea of one maybe being right around here by that big branch. See if we can, I think what I'm going to do is use my binding wire to kind of get this smaller piece of grapevine under the bigger piece. So, and then since I have that there, I'm just going to drop my star on top. Couple twists. Binding wire, I swear, has totally changed my entire grapevine outlook. It allows you to place things where you want them to be to give you the look that you're looking for. And I kind of like this sucked in a little bit more here. So wherever you want things to stay that aren't exactly lining up, and they don't have to be overly tight. So now I can get that one to stay a little closer to home. And let's see, we kind of did, let me pull these. Let's look. I'm not sure that we need a third, but I'm going to look nonetheless. Plop these all back in the bag. You get 100 stars, and as you can see, I don't use a ton of them. I'm kind of looking for a really pretty, just like some of these have a lot more rust on them, like a two-tone rust look, and I'm looking for something that's a little less two-tone. So that when we take all of our ribbon and fluff that out and bring our swag down here, and our Pip Berries are there. I kind of want to take my metal star and add that right to the center, right there, just so that it's a nice, like, tie it all into the look piece. So I am just going to lightly tag the top third of my star. I'm going to lay that right in the center of my ribbon. And let me spin this around so you guys can see what it looks like. We'll also put it up on the door. It's actually really simple to make, but I've made these every single year. I think this is my 7th one I've made. So here is how it's going to present on the door, or the way that you're looking at it here. I'm going to go ahead and flip you up. We're going to look at it on an actual door. So there we go. And it'll settle. We're going to take this one off. Lay that there. I'm going to show you how it goes on the door. Now, with a grapevine, you have a couple options. You can actually go through your grapevine, like I've done here. You're going to want to make sure, that you fluff everything out so that your swag sees everything, and then just reline up your bow so that you have a nice look. I'm going to pull mine off so it's not in on it. This is the downside about having a screw in my door. I can only put it where I want instead of having it there. So, of course, every time I grab stuff, it readjusts it, but there we go. That is how our flag looks. Just like that. What do you guys think? What questions do you have that I can answer for you? Thank you, Nancy. Karen, she said that ribbon is fabulous. All right. Well, there you guys have it. This is the 2024 version of the Patriotic Swag Grapevine. And like I said, if you're interested in making the purchase, do so by going to catscreationsandmore.com. You won't see a picture of this until I can get in and edit it. Right now it just has a placeholder that says Facebook Live. If you want to join the class that is this weekend, still not too late to do that, just go to catscreationsandmore.com. You'll see it right on the front page. It is the 2-day virtual class called Everything But Wreath. Go ahead and sign up, and then you will need to go to the Facebook page, Everything But Wreath. It's all on the document that you download. Request to join, and then I can go ahead and let you in. So we're going to be making a mailbox swag for the summer. We're doing a floral arrangement, and then on Sunday we're doing bows 3 ways. All right, everyone. Well, have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.